Hey everyone, happy spring. Welcome to today's video. I'm so happy to be out here. It's spring in New England. I'm in zone 6A and it is a glorious day. There's so much to be done in the garden right now. We have lots of videos to bring you, but today's video is on tree peonies. So I brought you a video in the fall on the herbaceous peonies and how to save some money by planting the tubers. And today we're talking about a different type of peony, the tree peony, which I also love. So I know there's so many tasks to be done in the garden right now, and pruning is one of them. So I thought it would be a good time to talk about the different peonies, the two different types. And there's actually 3 different types, but we're covering 2 today. And then just kind of walk you through how to prune these beauties. So the herbaceous peonies in the fall, their leaves die back to the ground. So you cut them right to the ground. So we see nothing this time of year. And the big difference is between the herbaceous and the tree peony is the tree peony is a woody plant. So it has this nice framework here year round. The tree peony also blooms a little bit earlier than the herbaceous varieties, and so it's a lot of fun to have both in your garden if you are a peony lover like I am. So I will say they also are very fragrant, so I do really love these. So right now you can see the spent blooms from last year, which I think in the winter it's kind of fun to still have on the plant. And you can also see the nice new growth that's coming in. So these shrubs can get anywhere between 4 to 6 feet when they're mature, and you do like to keep them a little bushier so that in the winter they don't break, or when the heavy flowers are on them they don't break. And you can see on this shrub where that happened, because this is starting to get a little bit spindly, or I call it leggy. So we are going to cut the spent blooms off today, and we're also going to trim it down a little bit to prevent any damage, because once it breaks then you can't control that. It could also really damage the plant. So you can see where it's broken a little bit down here from a heavy branch, some winter damage in previous years. So what I have for materials, because I like to share that with you, and I'll also put in the description what I'm using today. I have my well-loved trugs here, which I love for many things, but today we're using it for our clippings, some garden debris. And then I have some pruners here. I do have gloves, probably not gonna wear them. It's not my favorite thing to do, wear gloves. I like to actually feel the plant material. So right away, I'm going to cut down the spent blooms, and I'm just gonna do this deadheading before I start shaping it and thinking about health. So that's the easiest thing to do, is just to deadhead it right down to where you see some new buds growing. And we always do a nice 45-degree angle so the water's not sitting on the branch there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut those off. But like I said, they are really pretty in the winter time when there isn't much else going on. It's kind of fun to see the snow sitting on them. Can all of you hear the turkey gobbling in the background? Because I think the neighbors have turkeys. Okay, so just deadheading. Really just cleaning this shrub up. This shrub here has beautiful pink fragrant blooms on it, really gorgeous, full. And you can also purchase these. They have white, they have yellow, they have orange or coral. So a few different colors that are really lovely and fragrant. They're a little pricier than the herbaceous varieties, but I think they are well worth it. It's funny, my daughter Hannah and I were talking about peonies because we're really excited about them flowering. We love to make the cut bouquets, and that's one of the downfalls of the tree variety, is they're really not a good cutting flower. So they really do add a nice framework to your garden if you're looking for that, a nice structure plant. And the flowers do last a little bit longer than the herbaceous varieties, but if you're looking for a cut flower, I would go with the herbaceous peonies. So of course, if you see any dead, you can also take that off. So I just wanted to give you a close-up of last year's spent blooms that I'm cutting off because I still think they're kind of cute. So that's what I clipped off, and I've cleaned it up pretty good. Knowing me, I'll still do a little bit of fussing, but I wanted to show you next that you really do have to think about preventative care. So like I said, you don't want any breakage from the weight of the blooms, or once we start getting our bad weather, and sometimes in spring we get snowstorms, so you never know in New England. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around and check some of the leggier branches, and it's going to be a little painful, but snip them down a little bit. So for example, this one here is going to need to be cut down a little bit because you can see that it's a little bit leggy and weaker. So I'm just looking for some of the other buds. And remember, this is really just to keep this plant healthy. So I'm looking at one over here, that. The rest of it honestly looks pretty good, but I do like to keep an eye on these through the season. But they are such great, beautiful, low maintenance shrubs. I highly recommend them. And this right here is the majority of the care that you have to do with these throughout the year. So that's it for today. Happy spring again, and thank you so much for joining me. If you like the video, tap like, and please hit subscribe for some future gardening fun with us.